In the far-off town of Blindport, a trial to determine the fate of a witch is taking place. One of the jurors, deducing, is calling for a fresh look on this divisive case, speculative of his fellow litigants on the stand. A witch has been accused of several crimes, but she claims to have no memory of her actions. Are you ready to explore the town and uncover the truth? This video is a sneak peek into Press Start Academy's flagship debate program. We'll go through some behind-the-scenes design philosophy and the secrets of blending learning outcomes with play-based narrative objectives. What you're seeing right now is the classroom experience. Now, let's set the scene. In the town of Blindport, a murder trial will determine the fate of the accused witch, Carolyn Kraft. However, she claims to not remember a thing. Your students have been recruited as adventurers to solve this mystery and to bring justice to this town. Our story began in the city of Mirth. Guildmaster Lucian Glintseeker sent you off towards the town of Blindport for a challenging quest. You head off by ship aboard the SS Barrister, where you meet deducing. He's the one who posted the commission, and he'll try to help you in any way he can. You finally arrive at the town of Blindport. Welcome to Trial by Fire.
We finally arrived. Welcome to Blindport. The situation here in Blindport is quite complicated. The town is divided on whether the accused, Caroline, is guilty or not. I believe it's crucial that the truth is uncovered in this case, and I believe that you, an unbiased adventurer, are the best person for the job. Your task is to gather evidence, speak to witnesses, and ultimately make the decision on whether to convict or absolve Caroline. Excellent! Let's head to the courthouse. We have much work to do.
Here we have one of the first learning outcomes, argumentative fallacies. In this introductory debate program, students learn to identify underlying fallacies within many complex arguments. From this, they also learn to avoid these common mistakes in argumentation themselves.
I don't care what you say. You're just a mechanic. What do you know about Caroline? She's a big business partner of mine, and I've never had any issues with her before.
Carolyn is obviously at fault. Look at the evidence against her. It's all there.
That's ridiculous. Just because the evidence is against her doesn't mean she's guilty. What about the possibility of a frame-up?
And you think a frame-up is a more likely scenario than her actually being guilty? She'll get away with this and all will go to ruin in Blindport.
Looks as though things are as chaotic as I feared. Why don't you go talk to everyone first? Then we shall proceed with the case.
Here, students can decide who they want to approach first, and in what order. Not only does this build organic engagement with the story and the learning material, it also naturally opens up windows of discussion amongst them. Characters will each have their own perspectives and opinions on this murder mystery, so it's important to be aware of the biases that each of them will have. Here's how that translates into the classroom experience. This emphasis on choice also extends to locations they visit in the next part of the story. In these locations, students gather physical evidence in preparation for the trial. Small physical objects are brought into the classroom. These provide a tangible and fun focus for students. Figure out what this object is. Fragments can be gained this way that piece the actual story together too. Students will uncover the truth, but more importantly, they will realize that the truth may be even more confusing.
Let's combine all the evidence into a timeline of events.
Unlike most murder mysteries, this one doesn't just end when the full picture is assembled. Students will have to form their own opinions and arguments by taking a stance in this controversial case. To support their verdicts, they will venture into Starscope Academy and utilize past precedents in the form of case files.
Welcome to Starscope Academy. We'll be going around to different departments to search for reference case files.
Proper referencing is important for good argumentation. At Starscope Academy, students will learn to read detailed comprehensive text and draw key points from them. These key points will support their argument and assure that their opinions should be seriously considered in the court of law, at least in Blindport. Now that the students have gathered their physical and written evidence, they're given a bit more time to gather their thoughts as well. On the final day, they must present their arguments and verdict to the court of law.
Nice to see you here bright and early. Today is the big day. The trial will begin in just a little bit. Have you settled on your final verdict? Remember, when you present your argument, you have to use testimonies, evidence, and case files.
The moment has arrived. Students present their finalized arguments either individually or as teams. While the instructor is an ever-present, ever-important part of this program, here is where they must provide flexible support. Depending on the quality of their arguments, instructors challenge or support their stances as opposing and supporting forces in the courtroom. If a student is struggling with certain aspects of the final presentation, Doc Sock can provide the support that they need. Conversely, if a student is confident and presents a good argument, Phoenix or Jimmy can challenge and object to weaker parts in order to compel a sense of criticality and refinement from them. This makes an ideal environment for students to cultivate their critical thinking, public speaking, and communication skills on the fly and under pressure, without any risk. How will the trial conclude? Will Carolyn be convicted and punished? If so, then to what extent? Will she be freed and compensated instead? If so, why? These questions don't just lead to an open-ended conclusion. They allow students a level of immersion that demonstrates the consequences of their decisions in a safe and controlled environment. Through this approach, students will not only learn hard skills in debate and public speaking, but they will also cultivate important 21st century soft skills such as critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and citizenship.
Additionally, while this program is for students aged 8 to 11, it allows plenty of room for them to explore topics that interest them through a greater complexity and depth. And thus concludes this behind-the-scenes look into Press Start Academy's flagship debate program, Trial by Fire. Soon, you will be ready to guide your students into a gripping murder trial, cultivating their debate skills while instilling creativity and critical thinking. What are you waiting for? It's time to play, learn, and grow